Okay, Druski's skit has just dropped, and I'm doing this video because I know the UK hasn't woken up yet. I'm in LA, they're 8 hours ahead, so what time is it? It's like 5:43 in LA, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1. 1:43 in the UK, so they probably haven't seen it. When Black Brits, when you wake up tomorrow and see the Druski skit, don't get upset. It's fine. It's funny. Like, I don't want another diaspora over this. It's funny. It's funny. The only thing that I'm like not too much on is the beginning, the slave skits, is because I feel like a lot of Americans, Black Americans, they don't realize that like Black Brits are also the descendants of slaves. So when they're like Black Brits can't play slaves, that's the part where I'm like, that's also our culture too. Slavery, Caribbean slavery was in the Americas. So, you know, that's also, I'm a descendant of slaves in America. Not the United States of America, but in the Americas.
Now, the whole world is talking about this new Druski skit. We know that Druski is famous for his skits. He just did the Erica Kirk skit that everybody was talking about. But now y'all remember when he did the skit on the black pastors, right? And he had the whole country talking about that. A lot of black pastors was upset. Oh, were they hot with Druski? But now he's done a skit where he's imitating British actors playing Black American roles. And a lot of Black Americans, foundational Black Americans, are very, very upset about this. They're very upset. And I did a video on this yesterday, and I said that the issue is not the Africans or the Black Brits or the Caribbean brothers and sisters doing the video. That's not the problem. The problem is Hollywood. The problem is Lionsgate. The problem is our reparations and us being able to have control of our image. That's the problem. It's not them. If I come from one of those third world countries and the W want to offer me a leading role in a movie, of course I would take it. So I don't think that the problem is them. A lot of them grew up idolizing us because we influence the world. Foundational Black American culture is very influential and is worldwide. So a lot of them come over emulating us. So I don't have a problem with that part. The problem I have with is some of them come over and they play the roles and they're not connected to our struggle or our pain. Now I know in the Caribbean they experience slavery as well. So, you know, throughout the diaspora, they've experienced slavery. So we have a similar story. That's for sure. But nonetheless, a lot of people are upset, right? A lot of people are upset. And you know, when it comes to this, especially foundational Black Americans and us separating ourselves, having our own identity, people are speaking up. So Tariq Nasheed, he came to YouTube and he said this.
Yes, have I seen the Druski skit? Yes, I have seen the Druski skit. Do we need to talk about it? Oh, let's talk about the Druski skit. For those who have not seen, internet comedian Druski, he's been hitting pretty heavy with some of the skits lately. His latest skit was him doing a parody of British Black actors who portray Black American roles. He went in on British actors who basically come to Hollywood and get gigs playing Black Americans. And he was one scene where he was doing a slave scene and they were telling him to act more like a Black American. It was very interesting. Then he was playing a gangster role. Then he would switch back into the British accent. So it was pretty funny. And a lot of the non-FBAs, they got a little offended by it. Some of the non-FBAs got a little offended by that. They don't like that. I saw one chick up here talking about, I think she's Caribbean, but she's British. And she was like, we're all the same. I'm a descendant of slaves too, but not in the Caribbean. See, this is why descendants of slaves wasn't a codified term that we could use that really locked in the lineage. See, that's why that wasn't codified enough. You understand? Because a lot of the non-FBAs, they can kind of backdoor themselves into the descendant of slaves thing. by claiming Caribbean. Well, we were enslaved in the Caribbean, so I'm a descendant of slaves too. See? That's why the foundational part, it really tears them up. When you say foundational Black American, that really locks the door on all the BS. That's why the non-FBAs have a problem with it. Because, yeah, you cannot backdoor foundational Black American. It's a tight term that you cannot backdoor. You can run a backdoor game on descendants of slaves. Several people have tried to do it. You understand? Several people have tried to do it. But going into the Druski skit, why is it offending certain people? Well, it's offensive because the skit, it's touching on something real. There's a pattern in years, for a long time, for years, Hollywood, they've had Black British actors play foundational Black Americans who were enslaved, people from the hood, civil rights figures, street dudes, Southern Black characters. And the industry act like nobody's supposed to notice, all right? But we notice, we understand accents, we know the cultural distance, we notice the rhythm, the pain, the swagger, the humor, the slang. We know when it don't really come from the soil. That doesn't mean that, let's be clear, that doesn't mean that these actors are not talented. It means that talent is not the same thing as lineage.
Now, this is the thing. This is the issue. And I have to be fair because as a foundational Black American, Forrest Whitaker, he played Idi Amin, right? Morgan Freeman, he played Nelson Mandela. Jasmine Bogwitt, right? He played T'Challa. Don Cheadle, y'all remember he was the main character, the humanitarian in Hotel Rwanda. Denzel Washington, he played Steve Biko in Cry for Freedom. So we have a lot of Will Smith. He played Dr. Bennett and Omangu in the Concussion. So we have a lot of Black Americans that also played a lot of roles that played a lot of roles of Africans and Caribbean people, right? And this is a fact. This is the truth. So my whole thing is this, man. This don't need to be a gender war. I mean, excuse me, a war between the dark races, foundational Black American and other dark races, right? It don't need to be that kind of war at all, right? The issue is we need to do our own movies. My thing is this, my perspective, foundational Black American is a lineage. We don't all agree. If I was in position where I had money and I was doing my own movies, I would have FBAs and I would have some maybe some Black British guys and Caribbeans. A lot of those people from there are very talented actors. I don't have a problem with that. Our problem is we need to own it. We need to be owned and controlled by us. We need to be writing the stories and controlling the narrative. That's what we need to be doing. So a lot of Caribbeans feel like they can play the role of slaves because they have the same story. And I understand that to a certain context, but let's revisit the actual skit itself. But remember, we played roles with them too. The issue is the W man and Lionsgate and all these goddamn movie directors. They're the ones causing this problem, in my opinion.
Rudy, stop talking like that. You ain't going to no big city. Mass ain't gonna let you.
I'm going with or without you.
Rudy, stop talking like that. Stop.
Hey, what are you niggers doing over there?
Get out of here.
Hey, what are you doing?
Run!
And cut! Fantastic.
I need more American slave. Okay?
Like struggle.
Yeah, the struggle.
Sort of like the dialogue, like the back and forth banner.
Absolutely. Yes.
See, this role was sort of a bit cheeky. I got a little bit out of my comfort zone, During the filming of this role in this character, I felt oppressed, like an American slave, like a lot of struggle. I studied the art.
A fantastic turnout on the red carpet tonight. And just arriving, we have Samson Dubois at the American Guild Awards.
Samson, you look great tonight.
How hard was it for you to change your accent?
As a little boy from Manchester, I think, I struggled a bit with the dialect, right? But to really get into character for this quite astonishing role that I took on, to say the least, I put it all on the line.
All right, 3, 2, 1, action.
I'm telling you, nigga, if you fuck with my shit, I'll kill you, nigga. You'll be fucked up. Fuck.
Nigga, we family.
Nigga, ain't no fucking family in this shit. We not family, nigga. Fuck family!
Hey, cut! That's the one!
That was stunning. That was stunning. Great performance. Working with a good London boy, and I bother him all the time. I had a call with the director. It was quite quintessential to the role, and great character development behind it.
I put this fucking bullet in your head, nigga.
I laugh because I'm penniless and a bit quite surreal.
Samson Dubois. Samson, yo, who's the girl? Who's the girl?
What's your next
Samson
movie?
Dubois.
What's your
Samson
next
Dubois.
movie?
Yo, do you think your British accent gets you all the black roles in America?
Come on, bro. Are you serious, bro?
Do you think you're better than them?
Better than who, bro? Black people.
Yeah.
Stop.
Now, that skit is telling the hard truth, but to me, it's holding the mirror up to us as a people. Because we should be the ones writing scripts and writing our own stories and funding our own stories.
It's not the same thing as a lived experience. Y'all feel me? See, this is why the delineation, foundational Black American delineation movement is so powerful, ladies and gentlemen. See, that skit is really part of a bigger cultural shift. People are not just accepting this generic black is black label that gets used whenever institutions want to collapse everybody into one category. The foundational Black Americans, we're saying we're a specific ethnic group with a specific history, with a specific culture, with a specific relationship to this land here. And that makes a lot of people uncomfortable because for decades, they benefited from the confusion. See, people want us to be confused so they can benefit from it. When we don't have confusion, that stops everybody's gravy train. So Hollywood, academia, politics, nonprofits, the media, they treated Black Americans like a costume that anybody with melanin could just take on and take off. And we're saying, no, you can still have melanin, you can still be black, but not us. That's the part that offends people. You understand? And understand, people are really offended not just by the jokes that Druski's doing, but just the distinction, just the fact that it's a distinction. You understand? That's what's chapping the ass of a lot of people. And he's making that distinction visible, and other people keep making it visible. Everybody keeps talking about the difference between Black Americans and other Black people. You see? They're offended because the joke says a British Black person playing a Black American is not automatically authentic just because most people are Black. You understand? Now, why are so many stories being handed to these non-FBA actors? And I talked about this before, man. Hollywood, they use a lot of Black British actors as safe Blackness. You know? Just like when MTV first started, and I pointed this out, before Michael Jackson and Prince, because they started playing Prince in like December '82, but really before Michael Jackson, they didn't play foundational Black American artists. If they played a Black artist, that Black artist was Caribbean or British. Because our music was so powerful in the early 80s, foundational Black American music was extremely powerful.
And see, I get it. We are very, very, very influential people, and we carry a certain spirit amongst us as a people. And that spirit is very infectious, that people want to be a part of, people want to emulate. So when you got us playing those roles of historic Black Americans, it begins to resonate all throughout the Caribbean and Africa and everywhere else. So when you bring in some other Black people to play those roles who are not spiritually connected to it, it doesn't carry that same oomph. It doesn't have that same energy. I get it. So you bring in the David Aiello guy to come play a Dr. King, but you don't go get a foundational Black American to play a Dr. King. Two totally different energies. I get it. I get what they're trying to do. But the issue is W supremacy. They're the ones that's causing this issue. They're the ones that's responsible. It's the reason why Tyler Perry and that other guy, the other LGBT guy, the Black guy, they only make movies showcasing the underbelly of Black culture, or a man dressed as a woman and always depicting the man as the worst person on the planet, right? Because they're getting a lot of them are getting their funding from the dominant society. We know, so when we do get foundational Black Americans that go make their movies, the money's coming from the W. So these are the issues that we're experiencing.
Do a whole broadcast on the power of foundational Black American music in that little pocket between 1980 and 82. Right after disco collapsed, there was a wave of classic foundational Black American music that resonates to this very day. It was very, very powerful. It was very unifying. It was unifying us. And they knew, the dominant society knew the power of it. I'm going to do, that's a whole separate thing because I got to break that down. But same thing with actors now. They have to use safe Blacks. They're comfortable with British actors playing certain Black American roles. And I'm not saying that they're bad actors, but when they're less politically connected to Black American grievance, so they're less threatening to the industry. You understand? See, Hollywood, they want the aesthetics of a Black American pain without the political baggage of dealing with actual Black Americans. You know what I'm saying? They want the slave story, the hood story, the civil rights story, the jazz story, the blues story, the hip hop story, but they don't want the descendants of the people who created and survived those stories to have ownership over them. You know? That's why I keep telling y'all, man, whenever we do a lot of foundational Black Americans who have done these slave movies, I pointed this out several times, the ancestral energy hits them on the movie set. It starts resonating with these actors. They have these ancestral breakdowns. When they were doing Roots, John Amos, they were filming on a plantation. The ancestors got to him. He had a breakdown. It clicked in. Michael K. Williams, right, when they did 12 Years a Slave, he had a breakdown on the plantation. Being around that energy, and I've been on them plantations, that ancestral energy will knock you off your damn feet if you ain't ready for it. So it hits us a little different. You understand? And if it hits us different, the acting is going to hit the audience a certain way. It's going to resonate with the audience differently. It's going to probably kick in a more rebellious spirit. So they don't mind British actors kind of cosplaying the role because they'll do the aesthetics, but not the deep down spiritual essence of the role. You know what I'm saying? When we play our own ancestral characters, it hits a little different. You dig? Just like when Denzel did Malcolm. Yeah, he rocked that shit. Nobody could have done what Denzel did as far as Malcolm. He became Malcolm. And even Denzel was saying, hey, there was some spirits coming over me. Because again, Denzel is from New York. He's from New York. Out there where Malcolm's stomping grounds. So he captured the spirit of Malcolm. You understand? Lawrence Fishburne and Angela Bassett, they carried and transmitted the spirit of Ike and Tina.
So, in closing, I agree with everything that Tariq Nasheed just said about carrying the spirit. You know, I feel like when they was doing Stephen Biko, they could have easily went and got a South African to play that role. Nobody would have carried the spirit and the essence of Stephen Biko like a South African that was actually going through apartheid in real time, right? So, but they wanted star power to be able to sell the movie, so they came and got somebody else. But even in Hotel Rwanda, even with Idi Amin, there were people that could have played those roles that were of African descent. I 100% agree with that. But again, the problem is Lionsgate, and they're looking to replace Black American history and culture by any means necessary because we are too influential throughout the world to the other dark races. They know this. So they're going to do everything they can to get to erase you, right? And so now when other poor people come from other places, of course they're going to play those roles, right? They're able to come to America, which was always their dream, make money, do all those things. So now it's incumbent upon us as FBA to go do our own thing. We got to study the playbook. We on the battlefield, man. Coming complaining and arguing with other people from Africa, the Caribbean is really operating backwards. You moving backwards. That's stupid. What are you arguing with them for? We need to make our own movies and tell our own story. You're wasting your time in the diaspora war with other black people. For what? When we already know the real culprit that's throwing the rocks and hiding their hands is those small hats and the other groups, man, that's causing the confusion, man. So that way they can sell that way they can sell the movie. That's all it is, man. It is what it is. But y'all gotta let me know what y'all think, man. We all got our own opinions to this. FBA is a lineage. We don't all agree on everything. But y'all leave a comment and tell me how y'all think we should do this. My opinion is arguing about this is a waste of time. We need to be more proactive in making sure we protect our own image. Our own image. All right? So leave your comments in the comment section. Remember, I love y'all. Till the next time. Peace.